In his address, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev announced the date for the referendum on the construction of a nuclear power plant. The nationwide vote will take place on October 6. The president has already signed the relevant decree. He highlighted the urgent need for reliable and clean energy sources to address the country's growing energy deficit and called on citizens to make a well-considered decision on the issue. The upcoming referendum, in President Tokayev's view, will be another manifestation of broad national dialogue and a vivid example of the listening state concept. While Parliament views the plant as a boost to industrial development, environmentalists argue against its necessity. For more on Kazakhstan's nuclear ambitions, see our explainer section.
The Central Election Commission has outlined the process for the upcoming referendum on building a nuclear power plant. With 1 month to prepare it, the Commission has already complied voter lists with over 12 million eligible citizens. The ballot will feature a single question: do you agree with the construction of a nuclear power plant in Kazakhstan? An information campaign will soon start to guide voters on how and where to cast their ballots. According to the Commission data, more than 10,000 polling stations will be set up, including 78 abroad. Ballots will be dispatched to these locations a day before the vote, and results will be announced within a week.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs plans to invite representatives from 5 international organizations to observe the referendum. Approximately 150 foreign media outlets have already been accredited, with around 50 journalists expected to arrive from abroad.
Support for nuclear energy is 1.5 times higher than opposition, according to a global survey made by Radiant Energy Group. The study, which surveyed over 20,000 people in 20 countries, shows a preference for nuclear power. Richard Ollington, partner at Radiant Energy Group, stated that nuclear energy is now the most reliable thermal energy source. With rising electricity demand and escalating climate issues, Ollington emphasized that while renewable energy alone isn't sufficient, a mix of green and nuclear energy is crucial for the future.
If Kazakhstan needs to meet the electricity demands of 10, 20, 30 years' time, nuclear should absolutely be considered part of the mix. There's also a question of wind and solar should be invested in, but they have their downsides around intermittency. They're not able to produce electricity every hour of the day when Kazakhstan's people want to use electricity. And therefore, you want a source of electricity that can balance with that can produce electricity when the wind and the solar aren't producing electricity. That way, people in Kazakhstan can have electricity whenever they want it.
The debate over constructing a nuclear power plant in the country has been ongoing for a while. A part of it, nationwide public hearings have taken place, showcasing a broad spectrum of opinions. Thus, some activists raised concerns about environmental risk, as the preliminary project on NPP includes building 2 pressurized water reactors, and the proposed sites for the nuclear power plant include the village of Ulkian on the shores of Lake Balkhash or the city of Kurchatov, formerly the center of the closed Semipalatinsk test site. The issue of building a nuclear power plant in Kazakhstan is also important because the country has a history related to nuclear weapons testing on its territory. The Semipalatinsk polygon for testing Soviet nuclear devices, seeing its first explosion in 1949 and its last in 1989, with a total of 456 nuclear tests conducted. According to the Ministry of Energy of Kazakhstan, with the global shift toward carbon neutrality, a nuclear power plant is the only viable option for replacing old capacities and ensuring the country's energy independence.
Nuclear safety is a global concern, not limited to one country. Any nuclear facility is under continuous scrutiny from international financial organizations, which have unrestricted access at all stages to ensure global recognition. Transparency is key, and by implementing open book contracting, where all information about contractors and production costs is disclosed, we aim to provide full transparency to the public.
Kazakhstan has not yet chosen a partner for the nuclear power plants, with proposals from France, South Korea, China and Russia under consideration. Details on the budget or cost per kilowatt are still pending, but officials are discussing a plant with 2 reactors totaling 2,800 megawatts. If approved, construction is expected to take 8 years and cost up to $12 billion US. By now, a recent survey made by the Kazakhstan Institution for Strategic Studies showed that 53% of Kazakhs support the project. But the certain answer of the future of NPP construction in Kazakhstan will be defined on the referendum's results on October 6. Balzhan Samigulina, New Time.